I'm Julie from the feedfeed, and we're super excited you guys are at Food Loves Tech today. This is our pop-up test kitchen where we've invited people from our community, New York City bloggers, influencers, and chefs to create some really exciting dishes to share with you guys. If you don't know much about feedfeed, we're a crowdsourced cooking publication. Most people know us from our Instagram accounts at the feedfeed. We also have a vegan account, gluten-free, chocolate, cocktails, recipe videos, accounts on Instagram, and our booth is just right there if you want to learn a little bit more about us afterwards. We've partnered with Vitamix in this test kitchen, and it's a kitchen product that I couldn't live without. The technology is really amazing. They've really advanced their machines over the last couple of years. And if you don't have a Vitamix but you're interested in entering for a chance to win, we're giving away all of these Vitamix. So your wristband actually will enter you for a chance to win. You just have to go over to our booth after and they will scan it for you. So just one last thing about the Vitamix. Obviously most people know about this size Vitamix container. They have a lot of new containers this year they've come out with. This is called the personal cup adapter. It has a little top. You put it right on here and you can make your smoothie, put the top on, and then on the go. And then there's a smaller one for grinding up spices or anything else that you want to grind up, which is really exciting. So this is Remy from Veggykins. She's a member of our community. She has an account at Veggykins, so check it out on Instagram. And she and I are going to be making a couple of different vegan lattes for you guys today. So I'll turn it over to you. I'll just hold this for you so you can do what you're doing.
So I'm going to be making 3 different kind of superfood lattes. They'll be caffeine free with the exception of a matcha latte. So I'm not a coffee drinker myself, so these are kind of what I do to feel like I'm having a latte too. So I'm going to start off with the purple sweet potato one. So this one is a really nice one. It's mild. It has a lot of natural sweetness, and all of the recipes can be adjusted to your sweetness liking. So if you have a huge sweet tooth, you can dump it in. If you don't, you can cut back. And I'm just going to be making them basically with non-dairy milk. So I'm going to start off with, let's see, and I'm actually going to make it in this one. Thank you.
Sure. So talk to us a little bit about this purple sweet potato. Is it a puree?
So what I did for this purple sweet potato, yesterday I just steamed it and then I kind of mashed it up with a fork. If you want to blend it up in your Vitamix too, that'd be awesome just to get it extra smooth, but we are going to blend it again anyway, so I'm not worried about that. I am also going to add a little bit of purple sweet potato powder. So this is just for garnish really. It doesn't have as much flavor as real purple sweet potato, but it's a good alternative if you can't find real purple sweet potato, so options. Okay,
so if you take a look at her account, you'll notice that everything is very beautiful and pastel colors that really make for a really nice Instagrammable photo. One thing about feedfeed is that because we're a crowdsourced cooking publication, this is how we get to know people in our community. We find them on our hashtag. We learn about what kinds of food they make, and we like to share that with our audience. And so that's how we got to know Remy.
Yeah, that's an awesome community. So I'm just going to start off with a cup of plant milk here. You can use any kind you like. If you're allergic to nuts, then use maybe like oat or any other kind of milk. And then I'm going to add in a 1/3 cup of this steamed purple sweet potato. So this is going to give it the color. One thing to note too is that when I use color, I always try to use natural colors. Obviously you can food dye everything, but I think that there are so many colors in nature that you don't really need to go the artificial route. So yeah, we're gonna add this purple sweet potato, and next we're gonna add a little bit of sweetener. So I like to use coconut nectar. You can use maple syrup, really any kind of sweetener you like, but I prefer to use a liquid one. I think it's easier with the latte. So I'm just gonna add, let's see, where's my tablespoon?
One thing about natural sweeteners, yesterday we did a cookie icing demo here, and actually we're having another cookie icing demo right after this. And what we did is we took freeze-dried fruit and we blended it up in the Vitamix. So you can buy like freeze-dried strawberries, freeze-dried blueberries, and what's nice about that, using it in your icing or a vegan latte or a frosting is that not only does it provide a really beautiful color, but it actually tastes good. So when you've added the freeze-dried blueberries and then you add that to your icing, instead of just having a blue colored cookie, you actually get the blueberry flavor that it imparts into the icing.
So I'm just going to add a little bit of vanilla for flavor here, and then this is optional, but you can add cinnamon too if you like, which I find goes really well with sweet potato, which reminds me of the holidays. So I'm going to add a little bit of cinnamon as well. And then we're going to blend.
And what you'll notice about this is that we don't actually have to heat this up. The Vitamix is so powerful that you can actually just put it on, and as it blends, it actually heats this up. You guys, we do have cups, so you'll be able to sample each of these lattes. So here we go. I'll let you hold that for a second. You might want to turn that off for when I blend. What I'm going to do now is hand this to Andrew, and can you take it to the back and actually keep blending it for the next 5 minutes, just so that we don't have that blending sound going here while we're doing the demo, and we'll move on to the next.
So another great thing about the Vitamix is I actually don't own a milk frother, and you don't need one if you use a Vitamix because it's so high powered, it'll kind of give you that froth from a latte, so I like to kind of cheat that way. It saves a lot of time too. All right.
So what's the next one we're going to be making?
So the next one we're going to make is the white chocolate matcha latte. I'm actually going to heat up some cacao butter, and that's the only reason why we're using the hot plate today. The rest of it can be heated up in the blender itself. So I'm just going to heat up some of this, and this is just raw cacao butter, and it gives it kind of a white chocolate flavor, but vegan friendly. So I'm going to add that.
So a lot of these ingredients that you're using today are not available at just every grocery store. Where do you recommend that the audience go to purchase something like cacao butter?
So cacao butter, I would say you could definitely find at Whole Foods. If you're able to find it at a bulk store, it's probably going to be a lot cheaper because sometimes they come in small prices, small pouches, which are a little overpriced. So if you can find it in bulk, that'll be a lot better. But I would say check farmers markets. There's also Westerly Health Market, which is one of my favorite ones. It's around Columbus Circle area, and Whole Foods should carry cacao butter as well.
So that's heating up nicely. Yep. I can stir it if you want to keep it.
Okay.
And you said we're using almond milk today?
We're actually using pea milk. Yeah.
Oh.
So it's nut free. If you have nut allergies, it's friendly for you too.
Really good.
Right? It kind of has a white chocolatey flavor. It's really, really nice. So we're going to use the pea milk again as the base here. If you want to make it a little thinner, you can add some hot water as half of the milk substitute as well. I like it more creamy, so I like to keep it all milk, but it's really up to you. And next I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of this cacao butter, and it's really nice when it's melted. So I'll just...
One thing I should mention, and I probably should have told Andrew, who's in the back with the Vitamix, but I didn't, is that when you are heating something up in the Vitamix, you need to keep that top open so that the steam can come out. It does get quite warm.
Great.
Okay, I'm going to turn this on.
Yes. So it's a very similar recipe. We're going to add some sweetener again. I'll add a little less this time because I like to be able to taste the matcha a little bit stronger.
May, can you tell Andrew to bring me the Vitamix back?
And so now I'm going to add the matcha powder. And matcha powder does actually have caffeine in it, so if you are looking for something a little bit lighter than coffee, this will help you get through the day too. It does help me, so add that. And you can add as much or as little as you like. When I first started drinking matcha, I wasn't really a fan of the flavor, and then the more I got into it, now I'm like piling it in. So just be careful though, because it does have caffeine in it.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm just gonna put the mic down. I'm gonna come around and just let you guys feel this way.
It looks nice and frothy too.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, so I'm just going to add a little bit of maca powder. So I like to sneak in adaptogen powders into my lattes because you really can't taste them when they're in small quantities, but they're really good for hormone regulation, stress regulation. It's totally optional, so you don't need to go and hunt these things down if you don't like. But they do also add a really nice flavor. So I'm going to be adding just a teaspoon of maca powder, which to me has a little bit of like a caramelly flavor, a little bit of sweetness, and then I'm also going to add some vanilla extract, and that will be ready to blend.
And over here you have some really pretty garnishes. Do you want to talk about what you like to garnish your foods and drinks with?
Yeah, so I like to keep it natural too. I know that sprinkles aren't an easy fix, but this is kind of like natural sprinkles, I guess you could say. And I'm a really big fan of edible flowers as well. So these are actually two kinds of Benjamin button flowers or corn flowers. So I have a purple variety, a blue one, which is really, really commonly found, and then just some dried rose petals. And it does add a little bit of a floral flavor as well. So it can make you feel a little bit fancy, like a latte from Brooklyn, or you know, but without the overpriced cost. So.
You want to take this back to Andrew and you can blend it back there?
Thank you.
Okay.
Great. So I guess we can start on the third one. So the last one's going to be a Blue Magic latte, and this one is actually using Blue Magic spirulina. So that's what you usually see to get the color. It's a very trendy blue color, but it does have a lot of good health benefits as well, in addition to being pretty. So it actually has a decent amount of protein. It has a lot of vitamins and nutrients from the sea. It has a little bit of that sea flavor, so I would say use it sparingly or add some other flavors to it. So I'm going to add the cacao butter as well, just to kind of mask that a little bit. Yeah. I would say 2 tablespoons maybe. Yeah. And then we're going to add cacao butter. So similar thing, I'm just going to add a lot of the same ingredients, a little bit of sweetener, some vanilla, cacao butter, and then the Blue Magic, which is what's going to give it that really, really nice color. So this is what the Blue Magic looks like. As you can see, it's a very, very strong blue. This is a natural color as well. So that was a big plus for me when I first started using it. I couldn't believe that this was a very natural color. Yeah, and you can add as much or as little as you like. I would say go by color. If it looks really strong, it's going to have a very strong sea flavor, so you know to tone it down a little bit.
Yeah, and you can definitely smell it.
It has a little bit of that sea flavor. And I am actually going to add a little bit of maca as well, just to help with that flavor. And that one's good to go. Okay.
Man, do you want to take it back?
Thank you.
Okay, great. So now we're ready to pour this into a mug and decorate it, and then we'll provide you guys with some samples as well.
So hopefully you can see it's pretty frothy on top, so you don't really need to invest in a frother if you don't have one already. And then what I like to do is garnish it with a little bit of dusting on top, just for the photo, but you definitely don't need to do that, and then I usually sprinkle some of the flowers on top as well. I dripped in it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's beautiful.
And then I'm just going to add some of these flowers on top as well. There you go. So this is a very rich and very thick one because we have the actual purple sweet potato in it. It's definitely got a thicker consistency. So a lot more, I guess, creamy than your regular latte.
I think it'll be a great afternoon snack. So you could basically, especially if you added one with the matcha powder, you could fill up and also get a little caffeine. Keep it going. Okay, we're going to put this one aside over here, and we're going to be taking some photographs. In the meantime, I'm going to pour out a few for you guys to taste. Do you want to garnish these?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, that's fine. You guys want to try? You guys want to try?
Yeah, we'll share. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm going to get some more. I can do that if you want to,
Oh yeah.
maybe put this one, how you would garnish
In the main
that.
one?
Yeah. Yeah, sure. And like tiny bit of this one. You might want to do all three of them together. That's just the fact. Thank you. Yeah, the third one's coming out now. Okay, so for all you matcha lovers.
Yeah, this one is my personal favorite, I think.
Yeah, it's not as thick, this one.
Yeah. Definitely the potato makes it super thick.
Right. Oh, thank you. Chloe, you want to put them on the board?
Thank you.
Oh, that one we have to garnish. Okay, the blue. Do you want to plate that? Do you have a cup for that? I just want to get a shot with all three of them. Okay, done with these. Two more.
my
it's
favorite
ready.
flower.